All right, here we are, Tuesday, double shot Tuesday, as they say on the radio, and a lot to get to. Let's just dig right in, straight to Ethereum. How's everybody doing? Big shout out to the chat. Welcome back. Let's go. Let's go. I'm ready. Okay, need a little amp up. How about that Ethereum shark? Hourly. Let's do it. Perfect position, folks. Now with HSI, new and improved. Here's what we got really quick. I just want to be super fast with this. Posted this on Twitter. These are the last two posts I posted on Twitter. First with the shark. How did we know that that's going to do anything? Well, first we get a pattern. Then we get confirmation. Now we get the check back. So that's the money spot right there. Remember what we're saying about positioning? It's all about the positioning, folks. I'm not worried about this. Ethereum looking like, I said this when we popped above 2,000 or towards 2,000 that, hey, if it pulled back $100, that would be normal. It's down 120, 140 off the top with another situation with HSI checking back on the hourly. Last time that happened was the bat pattern that exploded. Do we know it's going to explode right away? No. But we position ourselves for a type 1. And that should get us up to 1946, and then we'll see what happens. Thursday is going to be huge. We got a lot of things in development that are significant. Are we going to continue this weekly run? Week over week, 7 weeks up? The big target, it still remains 382 no matter what. But, look at just the last 7 weeks. Serial move. Straight up. Even if we got an inside candle, that would be fine. But a series of higher highs and higher lows is what we want to see. One of the other or both is ideal. That's how we read individual price bar action. And again, just a quick review. I'm just going to blast through. We're looking for a 382 off the top. And again, your 382 move puts you down around 2,400, 2,450. Okay? Now, quick. I want to dial it back. For everybody that's new here, and we have a lot of new people that are coming in, it's really important for me to communicate this. Look, an educated trader, an educated harmonic trader makes my life and what I'm trying to do here a lot easier. That's why we offer the trials. That's why I offer all of these free resources. It's on you to take the time to learn the basics, and that's all we are. Spend a week with us in the sessions. Spend 2 weeks. Look at these things that we're posting. Get into the Discord and see what other people are posting, because a lot of people are doing great work in our Discord. Get with basic membership, and all you have to do is go to harmonictrader.com. Now, why do I say this? Okay, I need everybody to make my life easy. You want to be a part of this? You want my response? Which we've got so many people, fantastic people in this community. But I'm not doing this like your crypto influencers or whatever. This is a Harmonic Pattern podcast. We're here Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. But there's a real reason. Look, we're trying to change the game. We're trying to cut through the crap in the markets. Give people real tools. Real tools, things that work. Do it in real time. Do it in advance. Then show you where to go to learn. Look, every trader has to take it upon themselves to teach themselves to some degree. That's what you have to do. If you come to me and you buy a program and then you don't take the trial, you don't watch the materials, you don't read the books, and you say, oh, I don't understand this. That's on you. And listen, the other part that I mentioned yesterday, and I'm going to have to mention again today, the 2-week, the second trial, all right, I want everyone to get a 14-day free trial to any one of these platforms, but only take one, please. And then the second opportunity I was giving people for the trading view, we have to cut that out. It's too time consuming. And then what happens are the people that take up that second trial are just trying to get something for free. Folks, if you're in the trading game to get shit for free, you need to leave. You're wasting your time. You're wasting my time. I'm not even talking to anybody really in this chat. You people know who I'm talking about. But there's a purpose behind what I'm doing. And it's important to me that you folks get it. All right. And then when you're ready and you have some information, come on over, become a gold or silver member, subscribe monthly, and check out, say, some of the stuff we just posted. I posted the August market report. I also posted our 3 ideas for the week. Every week, I'm going to serve up 3 harmonic pattern ideas. And if you look at what we have done since I started this back in May, you look at these 3 ideas, probably 15 or 20 ideas that have been fire. So it's really important for me to communicate that. Now, let's get back to the charts. That's why we're here. Look, Ethereum serving up another 1-hour continuation bullish shark pattern. Check back, textbook, all of that was around 1875. Check back level 1868. Let's see how it shapes up. We do see other things popping, but the framework, the strategies, everything that we do is uniform. Same markets, time frames, same approach. Once you learn that, you can't unlearn it. You can't unlearn it. Who can unlearn? Well, here's the better way to say it. Okay, once you're aware of the harmonic levels, aren't you looking at things a lot differently than before with a level of accuracy that you haven't had ever in your trading life? That's why I focus on harmonic patterns. Okay, there's a lot of technicals that are mixed in, but the crux of what I do is all harmonic pattern phenomenon, because it's a phenomenon. It's market phyllotaxis is what I like to call it. Phyllotaxis, look it up. Excuse me. Man, now it's allergies has got me. But let's get into a couple of updates, because here's something that's popping, folks. You guys asked me yesterday, is this FET going to move at all? Check that out. All right, starting to move up. And look what this is. It's a 4-hour, look at that deep crab. Type 1 hitting 1175, really close. That's one of our T coins, as we like to call them. Let's run through a couple others before we get to the snails like Bitcoin. Here's Gala. I know that was a big favorite of a lot of crypto enthusiasts. On the weekly level, what's that? It's an amplified, no, sorry. It's an HSI check back that we identified around 5 cents, now 7. All-time high was 75. I think that's got a long way to go. Gala, I know there was a daily. Wasn't there a daily on there? Maybe the 4-hour chart on Gala. You've got some things in that 5-6 cent area. Here's one that is serving up the graph. We talked about this yesterday. This is something that's going to happen with a lot of your coins that are popping, is they're going to give you deep crabs off of the top, and then they're going to do the reaction. What I want to see on graph is give me a pattern in here. Give me an HSI on your 4-hour, because that's going to set up for the return move, where if we're going to really blast off, it's going to be from that point. Important. This is important stuff, because these are highly speculative assets that need time, but are basically starting to really shape up. They can go into a sleeper phase for a while, but then they pop. Here's the other one that's popping. Nonstop popping is this Chili's. What do you do with that? Anybody remember Chili's? Does anybody remember me talking about Chili's? Please give me a shout out. Chili's, folks. 17.57 was target 1. But look, no HSI yet. This could go as high as 23.5. Okay, and where's HSI? HSI is now approaching that overbought, but you're still a couple days away. And look at our amplified RSI. That thing is really expanded. That's strong. That is strong in that zone. Couple more. We got to get on this. I mean, look, if these things start popping off, and if some of these S coins and T coins that are 90-95% corrective moves now coming off these lows, you know they're not going bankrupt. You know they've got room to run. Here's another one. This thing, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but this was 1 cent. Where is the, I hate having a fish food through these data feeds. Basically 1 cent on this Jasmine thing. But I know I had something there. I'll come back to that. Maybe it was a 4-hour. Yeah, it's a 4-hour bat. Here's a type 2 bat right now. But let's let it come back down. Do the type 2. And then the real explosion will come later. It will come later. Oh, I know what the other one was. It was this Anchor. Real T coin. Anchor. I mean, we were on that at 2.5 cents. Here you go. It's flirting with 5. And if we get perspective on it, I mean, here's the daily back-to-back patterns. And I mentioned this yesterday. Deep Crab did your type 1 to 5.4. And we now have a bearish pattern that matches up with that zone. So don't be surprised if this thing comes back down. All right. And the real explosion will be the type 2. It will be the type 2 like that. I want to show a couple of the total indices. I find these quite interesting. Let's go to total 1, 2, and 3. Where'd you go? Should have looked at these a little bit more yesterday. Here's total crypto. This is everything. Hovering at about 1.1, 1.2 trillion. Big deep crab. Bottomed out at about 880 billion. Our target one comes in at 1.66. You got a ways to go for that. Okay? And it's going to take time. I'm not surprised. But this uptrend, still riding slowly, grinding, trying to get out of the zone. The second we get above 1.17, 1.18 trillion, that's where we should start to make saucer separation out of the zone. It's in a good spot. It's just going to take time. Look, you went down, what's that, 70% high to low over the course of 9 months, and you are entering your 3rd month. Actually, you're not even really there. August 21st will be our official date for that low. I mean, the low is basically 1718. Be aware of it. It's still in development and could take the better part of a few more weeks, but that won't take more than that. Total 2. I think this is minus Bitcoin. It is. Excludes Bitcoin. Now, here is where things get interesting. Depending on what the total index you're looking at, we did register bat patterns off of this low. Terminal bar came in a couple days ago. I think that was on Friday or Sunday. I think it was Saturday. Friday. Tuesday, Monday, Sunday, Saturday. Yeah, it was Friday, actually. And we're having a bit of a stalling behavior. All right, not a problem. Are we going to see a pause? Well, we don't have any HSI confirmation here. You do have an overbought, rolling over, amplified RSI. Think reaction. No matter what happens, I would only expect minor reactions in that zone. This actually could set us up for a simple type 1 reactive pause, and then the return. And the return phase is where I really want to pay attention to the larger possibilities. We're talking 2-3 weeks time frame to do this move, but let's keep an eye on that. Here's the other one, total DeFi. Another bat pattern doing a pause, but check it out. Every day that this holds its head is bullish. Even though we have confirmation, it's an ideal setup, but you have no follow through. This could be a scratch. If you were short this opportunity, well, there's the terminal bar denoted by the sun icon. This is the standard setup we look for in every zone. You get up, you trigger with HSI triggers here. Interesting to note, that arrow would generate on the close down here. And then we look for the check back, which is what we have. And we are how many days into this? We know 5 to 7 is typical, but now you're down to 8. And keep an eye on this for another brief reactive pause. The one thing you always want to look for when you're coming out of a zone on a type 1 move is show me where HSI is. This is coming down, and you're actually almost about to hit oversold. And if that could do that, go sideways in this pause, and then come out, that would be pretty strong. I mean, it's not, this thing should have rolled over. It should have rolled over last week if it was going to do a major reactive move. These are the little signs to pay attention to. Really important. Total 3. Total 3, another bat. Okay, kind of a dud reaction, because how many days are we into this? And there was no confirmation on this one. This is without Bitcoin and Ethereum. So it's just a pause. Look, there's terminal bar on that. And we are, what, day 8? So we could bounce around, hold around in here. And if you got down to target 1, which is about 402 billion, that's like a 7% pullback, 6% pullback. Essentially, that would just be your reaction. But there's no confirmation here. There's no confirmation. Actually, the software is pulling off of pretty much 2 June inflection points. I always want to look at the bigger pattern, but you've got, a pattern off of there, a pattern off of there. Look at that big one. I mean, off of this big one, you did complete 2 days ago. But either way, there's no HSI confirmation. You have a nominal amplified RSI indicator. So just reaction, and at most, if you come down to target 1, that actually might be a good thing. Meanwhile, others are moving. Other markets, other coins. As I mentioned yesterday, Doge is starting to do things. And I didn't, we're not jumping in on anything yet. You'll want to get it on your radar. We have a little mini ABCD off the low. So what do we look for? A pause. Pause. But conversely, if that's just a reaction, you get a thrust breakout move, then you come back down, anywhere on this next pullback, next bullish HSI signal, somewhere between, basically 6.9, 7.4, we'll be looking there. And as I said yesterday, you come back to 6.7, you hit that XA level one more time, consider yourself lucky. And I would consider that in the right relative location against the downtrend with HSI to say, all right, you're in a good spot. Right now, you just completed, you hit the hop level on that ABCD. Check it out. Software's generating it. We get the pause. but it's doing it in strong fashion. I mean, this is the thing where each individual candle in that zone is important as well. Really strong in the zone. Is it following through? Not really. I mean, you do have one candle today, but you're there at a check back level. That arrow, okay, formed down here yesterday at 7.6, came all the way back to 8.7, and there's HSI. Amplified decided to go back into the zone. That has to roll over by tomorrow. If it breaks above these prior highs, yeah, then this thing might be running sooner than later. But it's there. Here's another one. Polka dot on, I think this is a weekly. Yeah, HSI. This is one that's been a laggard. HSI basically 6.6 cents. Sorry, $6.60 is your trigger. And look, we're just retesting inside range of last week's levels. Still early in that zone, and then pull up like, where is it? I'm sorry. Where is that? Here you go. You had a couple things. 4-hour chart, and remember, deep crab that set it off at the low, basically at that weekly level. But this is, I mentioned this, I forget, what was the one I brought up yesterday? You had a couple bearish patterns. This is just doing another reactive move off of, like that, off of that bearish pattern. And then it goes again. And we're in this reactive move, come down and go again. And come back again. That's the way to kind of fish this grinding higher scenario in Polkadot. What I want to see is, show me HSI. Have we triggered anything? Not quite. But if we can get another bullish 4-hour or hourly, that would be in a good spot. A lot coming together. It's, look, it's not going to be easy to get from point A to point B, if you will. But we're seeing individual signs popping off that you want to see. You want to see, look, not all crypto is created the same, and you want to see things, individual issues, individual coins pop off, as you would with the markets, and then trigger, kind of spread out like a wildfire, where the money comes back into crypto. Here's another one, Cardano. I think this had an hourly. No. Let me get to the Binance or Coinbase feed. Binance, yeah, this is kind of ugly bat pattern, but I know there's a weekly all-time 886 here. Yep. The weekly level on Cardano around 48 cents. I mean, that thing was trading, you're still 90% off the all-time high, 85%. And I did mention this yesterday, where if you have no clue where this potentially can go, just do a all-time 382 off the low. That would be a good maximum upside objective for any kind of major reaction. It's coming together. It's coming together in a great way. One moment. Keep an eye on these. I mean, if we go into a pause phase off of some of those indices, it's just reaction. That's all. And we'll probably set up an opportunity after maybe a 2-3 day pause. Maybe we go into Sunday and do an inside week. Want to be aware of all of that. Here's Cosmos. I don't think I mentioned this yesterday. The daily is a crab. Back to back. Well, there's a butterfly. Where's the crab? Do have a butterfly right now. I mentioned this. I think it was, maybe it was not yesterday, but it's another one where it's a type 2. Can we have a reversal here to complete the bearish pattern? Very possible. And then set up where maybe in a month or 2 months, anything above that $12 handle will trigger much higher levels. So if you want to be patient, and I know I mentioned this, wait for the breakout or look for a development back here on the retracement. Still early. I mean, really early with a lot of this. Here's Binance Coin. This is a bat pattern generated by the software, triggered HSI. Let me see if I can get Binance on Binance. There you go. Binance on Binance. What it's doing is coming back a lot of these, and I think it's valid, just retesting static resistance from the May peak, basically a 3-month range. The software is generating the bat off of this level. You might say, why is the software generating it there and not there? It has to do with where the B point is. We'd call that the true harmonic level. Is about, it projects metrically there. I mean, just when you measure that up, that's your true harmonic minimum. But I think we all can also say, hey, you know, not surprised to see even a simple 886, which is about there, line up around 322. And have this be a type 1 pullback and then come in. Either HSI generates or you get to target 1, but just a reactive pause. But here's the thing. It always depends on where the harmonic strength index comes into play. We're already oversold, which means the last several sessions, this is how to read it. I mean, pretty remarkable that price has barely budged over 5 days, yet harmonic strength went from overbought to oversold in a short period of time. So I'm watching this closely because if these just hold, and this is harmonic pause material, and then you get stuff on the daily that pops out of the zone at a high level like this, let's say that we get an arrow in the next day or two that pops out of the zone, that will trigger the failure. That will then blow out that bat pattern and go into something much larger than we've seen. Not there yet. We are kind of in the middle of this pause, but I think there's, you know, some basic assessments you can do with every pattern that you just ask yourself, what is it doing at the pattern completion point? Software will generate the match. Now your job is to say, is there confirmation? Is there individual price action reversal behavior? And it, or what's it doing within that 30-bar window? There's your 30-bar window. 30 bars is over on the 27th. Today's the 16th. So what if we go sideways for another week in this range, then register a bullish HSI? That would be against the bearish pattern. It's common, but it's what I call a harmonic dud. You hit the zone and then you just go sideways. You don't do any demonstrative bearish behavior that links up with the pattern. This is where, as traders, we have to use our brain. We need really critical thinking skills are essential. No matter what, no matter how automated I can make this. And then pick your spots. Pick your spots. Something like Doge is a great example. It's popping its head up. It's kind of showing it. Don't play whack-a-mole with it. Try to capture every one that pops. Okay, get them on your radar. Here's another one. Okay, basic attention token. This is the Brave coin. Again, look at the deep crab. Beautiful patterns in this bat on a Coinbase data feed daily. We had talked about this a while back. Taking its time to come out of the zone, but that's okay. Look, ride that trend line. Get on up. Eventually, we're going to get into an accelerated move that will get us to target 1 or target 2 off the deep crab. And it sure does help. You have back-to-back patterns. Look, you had a bat pattern here that preceded the sell-off. Then you go right to a deep crab where you're now well to the right of that downtrend of the pattern. And this is actually a better spot in here, 31, 32 cents, to be looking for opportunities. Again, HSI has dove down. This is the other characteristic of a lot of this consolidation over the last 2 months. You're going sideways, you're grinding higher slightly, but in the last few sessions, Harmonic Strength Index has let a lot of air out of the tires, meaning we could get a high level bullish continuation signal on something like this maybe in the next 3 or 4 days. So be aware of that. Thanks for the shout outs for people in the chat who own the program. Thank you, Christopher. Appreciate it. Crypto hoarder, that is true. I know a few Harmonic duds myself. I had to deal with one this morning. You know, I mean, look, folks, why am I here? Why am I here? If I'm not sharing the knowledge, then I'm wasting my time. This isn't a gimmick. I'm not selling. I know a lot of you have asked me for my certified course program. That's something I've retired. I will fire that back up probably this fall. It's intensive as anything, and it's basically a one-on-one program. I just don't have the time to make it right to give you folks the time you would need in such a program. I've done individual seminars, and then what do? I turn around and give those away. Thank you, Evan. It has changed the game. That's why I want to change the game for individual traders, because the odds are so stacked against us. The advantages that the Wall Street firms have, the big boys have, the free money that they get, we don't get that. We don't get $1 billion to trade a fund because somebody's got $100 million to allocate. We're on our own, folks. And I've seen the ins and outs of the industry. Makes me kind of want to puke of a lot of the stuff that I have seen. But I also have really thrived on being able to share the knowledge, connect with people, make it fun, and facilitate an opportunity during some economic and other times where, look, if we do this right, it can give us what we need in our lives. That's how I see it. But it takes work, takes dedication, and you got to think for yourself. Critical thinking skills always start with thinking for yourself. I can tell you what to do. I can tell you what I'm doing is a better way to say it. I can outline what I do in real time, but ultimately you still have to be the one that pulls the trigger. And that's why I do it this way. Look at, what's that? Bed Bath & Beyond's up 60%. What the heck? Wasn't there a big pattern there? Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. Didn't we mention this a while back? Wow, that's up 9. What the heck is going on? Actually, this just caught my eye, but this has everything that I'm talking about. Look, the type 2 return is a devastating move. This just caught my eye. Bed Bath & Beyond's up 60% today, up 950 at 25.44. But look what preceded it. A really nice bearish crab that did a type 1 reactive move. This is exactly what I'm talking about with crypto. That if this shapes up in the next couple of weeks, this is the blowout scene I want to see in crypto in a few weeks. You have a pause, type 1 reaction, and then when it goes to do the return, it's an explosion. Also notice there's no HSI here. Nothing. Look, HSI finally registers all the way up here this morning as it blows all the way through. That's an explosive type 2 return. This is the thing with a lot of these bearish patterns that form after a long decline. Sometimes they can be continuations, but um, when they do this type 2 return, and they'll still go through the 1-2 framework, and you explode, I mean, just vehemently explode. It's just not even a consider. You don't have to think twice about it. It just, you hit your numbers and you just keep going with no confirmation. This is what's possible. That's what I'm looking for in crypto. That just caught my eye right now. I didn't really want to get into that, but that's the kind of explosive type 2 return I want to look for. Here's another one. This bond that exploded. Go in the 4-hour chart. Look, 4-hour chart is a pretty ugly bat pattern, but this went from 2 to 22, a nice 10x move over the course of a week, 2 weeks. Okay, but now we come back down and we're trying to form, look at the stabilization. This is a new one. I don't think I've mentioned this in a while, but look at this around 819, 820 as your primary trigger level. It was as low as 753. But this, forget everything else to the left. You know this thing wants to run. But just off of this pattern, I'm looking for, this is our basic assumption, from about 8 to 1450. And you're still there. A lot going on. Let's look at Bitcoin. We've been ignoring Bitcoin. I don't want to ignore Bitcoin. Bitcoin on the daily. Is this going to ever get out of the zone? It absolutely, it seems really top heavy, but like we've seen with a lot of these delayed moves, all right, it's still okay. I mean, if we break down or do some kind of major violation, then I'd be concerned. But how many of these crab patterns that formed at the low back in June 21 did the stretch out move and then they start to go? And that's what I think what's going on here. I mean, maybe go to a 4-hour time frame or hourly time frame. Is there anything? Not a lot. Not surprised to see not a lot because Bitcoin hasn't really been doing much. Bat pattern really was your last formation. I would just be looking for another HSI on the downside. Maybe a little bit lower, but I think if this was really going to break down, you'd be doing it in a hurry. How about the 30 bar rule for bond? Thanks, Claire. I agree. Look, the 30 bar rule, we want to see that action happen. There's the 4-hour. Didn't this happen on the daily? No, sorry. Daily does have an HSI. I mean, this is interesting. 4-hour time frame has a pattern that matches up with where we are on the daily. But you go to your 4-hour time frame. One way to think about this. Okay, here's the pattern completion. Right there. There's terminal bar. But where's the green arrow confirmation? Not till over here. And that helps you kind of pinpoint, locate in the zone where we want to feature it. If you apply the 30 bar technique, where it basically starts after the confirmation, okay, tell me what happens. Pretty much a dud, sideways. But this has also been the nature of crypto. We know crypto is slow mover. And it can do things that are not like what we see in traditional markets. So definitely be aware that that can happen. We're cutting some slack, if you will, but we're looking for opportunities like this to then get us going back to 1444. Here is another one, crypto.com. And this one does have a couple patterns. There's the 4-hour, Gartley. And another beautiful, I mean, that's a nice Gartley, but it's just a reaction. There's no confirmation up here, nothing in here. So if we get down to, say, 1465, this is how we'll frame it out. And I'll come back to this on Thursday because, look, You hit that target 2, then you come back. It has to do that. I suspect that if you come back here and then explode through there, well, this daily, weekly time frame, look at this daily crab pattern. Crypto.com. Deep crab. This is taking its time. Clearly violated the 30 bar rule, but there was no confirmation in here. There's your first confirmation down at 10 cents. Now it's 14.80. Still well below XA level at 19.2 cents. And our target 1 is at 31. So look, that's a sizable percentage gain. Kind of reminds me of Chili's. Allow it time. Allow it time. Don't get unsettled. Just allow it time for more development and even run a trend line. Because what will happen is you'll establish some kind of primary trend line off the low, like a 45-degree. And then once we do take off, this will accelerate in what I call an accelerated trend line off of the low, where it takes on like a 60, 75-degree trend channel. But it's there. It just needs time to develop and get out of the zone. The other one was Zcash. Zcash yesterday, it was hourly. Okay, remember the the bat pattern? A high-level bat. It went and kissed 76.02. Official type 1 over. Here's where I'm more interested in Zcash. Come back like that. Retest your zone anywhere under 72.65. Come back down here and trigger here. That should set you up for the larger continuation in Zcash and all those privacy coins we talked about yesterday. They're doing type 1 returns, type 2 returns to retest the level and then get ready to rock. Here's XRP. Much the same deal on your weekly. This was a weekly. It's a beautiful weekly. Gartley pattern type 2. Why? Because you had the reaction way back here in April up to target 1, target 2. Then you come all the way back down and there's confirmation finally. And that confirmation is 31.7, 32 cents. You're still 37, just vacillating in the zone. But look, you're going to pop here. And if you pop out of the zone and you pop above, say, 42 cents, yeah, then you should see the acceleration get to target 1 minimum, if not, because it's a type 2, target 2 at 138. That is going to take time. As I've said with a lot of these weekly setups, we could be into early next year before this stuff is realized. But it's coming together. Here's another. XLM, the stellar lumens. Another couple of signals, weekly time frame, but check out the daily charts. That's where you have lots of interesting pattern matches. Crab pattern, big ABCD. All of that is essentially between 10.7 and 12.1 cents. You're at 12.1 right here. And you had confirmation down there at 10.6. Call it 11 cents, plus or minus a half a penny, and you're in the zone. I mean, you're really in the zone on that one. Percentage-wise, again, looking for some kind of thrust back up. Target 1, 18, 19 cents. Another one that reminds me of Chili's. That was down 10 cents, and we were looking for the move to 17 and change. Same deal going on here. Interesting stuff. It's important, though, to frame it out. This is why we do the sessions, to reinforce what we need to be thinking, especially when they do these delayed grinding consolidation zones before they make an attempt at type 1 reactions. Don't sleep on it. I don't know VTHL. That's got to be a real T coin. I bet you it's probably on like one exchange. I'll look at it. I've never heard of it, and I'm actually looking for new coins. VTHO. So on Binance US. Yeah, there's no shark there. Where's the shark? Something like that is pretty much like all of these T coins. I want to see them at all-time 886s, which this is. Your all-time 886 actually is about 3.5 cents. And then confirmations around 2.6, but this thing's trading as low as 2. Not what, there's so many other better opportunities that have patterns at their back, which is a good way to go. Look, if you're not sure, you get overwhelmed with all of these coins. Get the patterns. Get those that have patterns. I don't see the shark, my man. Maybe it's Binance US. I don't know. I think there's better setups without having to reach like this. But we see him popping off. Let's talk about Solana, because I think Solana, again, being a top 10 play, has not moved out of its zone yet. Needs more time. And this is a ideal one with a harmonic pattern at your back. Okay, maybe you don't get the 10x, or maybe you will. I don't know, but other those smaller coins are moving a much greater percentage. But this is a deal that I want to see. Big pattern on the weekly, and it completed all the way back here in May. But there's confirmation. Perfect check back. Everything at $32. Trading 42 right now. Trying to register this HSI arrow that hasn't come out officially yet. But I'm thinking anything in this range of, essentially 35, 37, 38, anything under $40 has got to be on the radar, because Solana is going to take its time to fight the downtrend. It's going to fight this. It's going to hit some resistance here. But every week we go to the right and we can hold a series of higher highs, higher lows. Quite strong. Increases the chance for a type 1 reaction up to 115. Then what are you going to say? Then you're going to say, man, I had an opportunity to buy that thing at 40, 42, whatever. And now it's 115. Maybe I should buy it at 115. No. Important to emphasize the fact that we have so many patterns that it's easy to dismiss these. It's easy to be at that key level where you have pattern completion, confirmation, and then it's like, oh, this isn't doing anything. I'm not gonna mess with it. This is the patience part of trading, folks. This is where you get paid to wait. So locate that in the zone. Keep a close eye on this. Anything above 47.60, and that thing will begin to accelerate. XA level is your 886. I mean, that's really, that's your key metric. And that's $48. I'll look at Link. Link is another one where it seems to be the most loved coin on the market, doing the least amount of work. Link, basically 660, was a weekly confirmation. I probably should need a better setup. But look, even on this one, okay, this seems to be what's happening in a lot of the big coins. Stabilization, come off the low, form a W bat pattern. But what do we know? Reaction reversal dynamics are at work, where maybe for Link, you're 845 at the moment, you come to 777. Where's HSI? HSI has let out a lot of steam, if you will. Over the next 2 days, we come back Thursday. If we see something like this, you come down, you're at 777, and then you pivot out with an HSI signal, well, that's a trade unto itself where you target the hop return. And that's 40% move. It's really a great way to think about it. Don't overthink it, but these percentage moves, I think if you visualize it that way and you say, hey, I caught this move, it's up 40, 50%, you take the profits or you take partial profits in any market, One or two more. Here's another one. I mentioned this yesterday. Here's Matic. This has been another that's trying to come out of the zone on your daily. It's back to back. Look at this back to back pattern with crab pattern, deep crab to deep crab. And that matters. There's a deep crab. Ugly. I mean, that's an ugly, it's not the typical thing we see in traditional markets, but if we're looking for, say, the first HSI after the pattern completes, it's all the way there at, what, 35 cents. Now trade 93. But let's look at the immediate crab pattern. It's in a 1-2 framework right now. It's spot on. This is why you need the software, because you can't calculate these levels. You can't rip through the number of charts I'm ripping through and do it by hand. I recommend you learn by hand, but rely on the levels automatically generated, because look, target 1 at 72.92 was the floor. You run it right back into the hop level at 102.59, and now we're rolling back over. That's fine. And I wouldn't be surprised if we come back at least to target 1 here, or maybe as low as target 2. That's the framework in action. HSI, though, it's not anywhere to reinforce the 1-2 framework except for the type 1 reaction. But if it came back down, registered another oversold, something like this, all the way down, I would consider that bearish pattern over and resumption of longer-term trend to begin at lower levels, not here at 93. I'm saying down here is 73. Maybe not 57, but somewhere, maybe close to target 1. Because of what HSI is doing. Okay, yeah, I mentioned Hex yesterday. And this one did have 4-hour pattern, pretty sure. What was the 4-hour pattern on Hex? Or was it daily? I think I had a Gartley formation, but the larger pattern here, you have a couple of structures that basically say 5 cents is critical, and you're at 5.7. So if this came back under, I mean, there's your hop at 4.9. Maybe you come back down one more time. Yeah, the daily, the weekly is a little bit better with HSI. And all of that was 3 cents, 3.5 cents. Needs time, because take a look at the downtrend. Just trying to get out there now. Looks like that. Still needs time. A lot of the other ones, like Cardano and some of the other better S coins, are to the right of their downtrend, which means whatever happens to the right here over the next several weeks, let's say we get a bullish pattern that's to the right of the downtrend. That's going to be a heck of a lot more potentially powerful than something that would be here. Be aware of that. What was the other one? Oh, here you go, LRC. Beautiful weekly loop ring. Just taking its time, retesting last week's low range. And then even if you go to, I think it's a 4-hour chart, you have this. It's a type 2 crab, that's all. Type 1, type 2. There's type 1, no confirmation, but you come back and you hit the hop at 51.67. That was it. Perfect type 2. So what I want to look for is a move down to this 42.89 level. Now trading 46. And give me HSI down here, because that would then end the reign of this bearish pattern. Come on back down like that. And then do the return move and explode. That's what you want to see here. Filecoin. Filecoin is still around. Someone wants to look at Filecoin. Here's Filecoin. Oh, I know what happened. You got to look at the history here. I mean, that's just brutal history. It was 26 and came all the way back down. Oh, no, this, yeah, I thought so. This wasn't 26. This was 100 and something. There you go. 110. And then just did the massive, ugly slide all summer long. All right, I need to see a pattern to the right of that. I need to see confirmation, all of which we do have. And now look at the pattern. I said, look at the pattern. Come on. That's too many lines. Bat pattern at around what was it, 528? All right, and that's a type 2, clear type 2. Here's type 1 move, up to target 2, and then came back down before it exploded. Not surprised to see that. Want to keep your eyes on SHIB and Doge for these to do some kind of pullback against a secondary pattern, because that could be the launch pad. Definitely could be the launch pad for some of those. What was the other one? I cover Mana. Here's Mana. I said, here's Mana. Daily or weekly? I think it was weekly. HSI down here at around, what was it, 83 cents. Trading 103. I'll keep the Binance feed on. And then daily, not a heck of a lot. I mean, somewhere around this 84-cent level, you had some checkbacks. This is more about trying to break out of the downtrend, which a lot of your favorite crypto should be there. They should be to the right of that downtrend and then form some kind of bullish pattern. Maybe we do something like this. And this is a general assessment for all of these, where you come back and you do like this and then that, and then you explode. If we could get patterns to the right of that trend, they will be extraordinarily significant. That's why crypto is not so much about price anymore. Again, we're back to this time factor. Here's Roon. Someone wants to look at Roon versus Tether. It's another, look, Roon is a type 2. It's a type 2 off of that all-time bat pattern, which, again, is phenomenal. Take a look. You go all the way up to target 2. Like that at 12 from a trigger point of 379. Nice. But you've backed down. So officially Roon is a type 2 on the daily. And here's the Gartley, the formation. Like we've seen on a lot of those bearish patterns, We did have the reaction. Looks like this. Then you come back for the return trade. Back up there. No confirmation there. That's interesting to take note of. Look, HSI is nowhere to be found there. So whatever happens on this next pullback, yeah, it's just going to be a reactive move. Maybe 205 maximum. But it's clearly in development. One or two more. Sure. I can look at that. What were you saying? Vet. Where'd it go? There it is. I thought I had more on there. Vet on the daily. Look, it's a bat pattern. Reacting, pausing for now. And I'll go to the weekly chart. But again, another one setting up. No confirmation. The confirmation came before the sun icon, not after. We want to see it come after. So maybe down to 285. But that should be a floor. That should set the floor on the whole thing. One moment. One moment. All right, I'm back. And like a lot of these that are setting up their daily or 4-hour bearish patterns, you can go through and see how many of them have just been reactions as then they stair step their way off of these floors. I expect that for VeChain. Needs time. Needs time for sure. Really quick. What was the other one? Was it YFI? Or YFII? I don't know. And let's come back to that on Thursday. Tell you what, we'll save some of those others for Thursday. I know you guys want to look at NASDAQ or Tesla. I see that. But let's save that. Let's hit those big markets on Thursday. Nothing has changed. And I updated this on the market report for gold and silver members. So look at that. I mean, we're just grinding higher. We haven't hit our marks yet. They tried to sell off the market this morning, but it keeps coming back. All right, James, just for you, because Tesla's such a beautiful example. Look, bat pattern, beautiful on the weekly for Tesla. And a lot of these markets, these tech stocks have massive patterns. But what do we know about the type 1 reaction? It has to end with either at a target, clear price action, individual price action reversal, and an HSI signal. HSI isn't there yet. And a lot of these are in a position where they just want to keep pushing higher. How high? We'll look at that on Thursday, because I think if we drift and drift and drift up, it's going to blow people's minds. People are not ready for this market to continue drifting higher. And for how we lay it out, until this registers and we see some bearish overbought indicators, it's still going to drift higher. And drift is a word because the volume's not great, but and people are trying to point out stuff that says, you know, because of this, because of that. No. The price action's still drifting higher. We're still in reactive phase on a lot of the crypto and major patterns that we've seen daily or weekly. So they haven't registered yet. We'll talk about that on Thursday. So that's what I have for today, folks. Thanks again. Get with Harmonic Trader. You know where to go. HarmonicTrader.com, basic membership. And on Thursday, we'll give away a few books. Bring your other questions for that. Until then, as always, go get them, and we'll see you on Thursday.